Hello, today we are doing part 2 of the series that I started last week on lies women over 40 are being told about fat loss. Now last week we spoke about nutrition, about how unnecessarily complicated it has become. Fasting, keto, detoxes, liver cleanses, carb rules, supplement stacks, hormone hacks, cortisol cocktails, gut protocols, all of it. And what I said last week is that no wonder so many women feel overwhelmed because you're being told a million different things and it becomes hard to know what actually matters. So today we're talking about the next piece of the puzzle, which is training and movement. If you're watching the replay, comment replay. If you have questions, put them in the comments and I will come back and answer them because this is a big topic and I think it's one that is really needed because there's so much confusion out there. Just like nutrition, the training space has become so messy. Women over 40 are being told, don't do cardio because it spikes cortisol and stores fat. Don't lift weights because you'll get bulky. Actually, no, you have to lift heavy or it doesn't count. Pilates, it's the secret to getting long toned muscles, don't you know? HIIT, it's either the magic answer or the absolute worst thing you can do. And again, no wonder so many women feel confused. And I have messages every single week from women actually scared to do anything because you're not sure where to begin. If you listen to that all at once, you end up scared to do cardio, scared to lift weights, scared you're not lifting heavy enough, scared that HIIT is ruining your hormones, and feeling like you need to find the perfect type of exercise before anything will work. So today I am going to simplify this because training after 40 doesn't need to be extreme or confusing or fear-based. You don't need to punish your body to get results. You don't need to chase the trendiest workout. In fact, it's probably better if you don't. And you definitely don't need to be scared out of moving in a way that you enjoy. What you actually need is a smart, repeatable, realistic approach. You do need a strategy for what to do. It helps if you have some support to help it work with your body and your lifestyle and your season of life so you know what's going to be appropriate. And you need it to be sustainable enough that you're not constantly starting again every Monday. That's something you can do for here until eternity, basically. And it's what I focus on with my clients in the Goddess Project. And after this video, you'll know exactly what works and what doesn't for fat loss after 40. So let's break down some of the biggest training lies, okay? Lie number 1, women over 40 shouldn't do cardio because it spikes cortisol and stores fat. Now this is probably one of the biggest ones going around right now. And I understand why it sounds convincing because it uses words that sound scientific. Cortisol and hormones and stress and belly fat. But here's the truth. Yes, intense cardio can temporarily raise cortisol. That is normal. Cortisol is not automatically bad, despite what you may have read and heard in recent years. It's one of the hormones that your body uses to respond to stress, and exercise is a form of short-term stress. But a short-term rise in cortisol doesn't mean that your body suddenly stores belly fat. Your heart rate also goes up when you exercise, but we don't say never raise your heart rate because it's stressful. We know it's good for you. So we have to look at the bigger picture. How much are you doing? How often? Are you recovering? Are you sleeping well? Are you eating enough protein and fiber to support your fueling needs? Are you already running on stress and coffee and 5 hours sleep? So that context really matters. I often say to women, it's not about the hour of cardio you're doing 3 times a week. That's not the issue. It's what you're doing the other 165 hours we have in the week. That could be a problem when it comes to cortisol. I've done many videos on cortisol, by the way. So if you're curious about if that's a problem in and of itself outside of training, just comment cortisol and I'll send you the other videos that I've done. So no, answer is cardio is not bad after 40. In fact, it's really beneficial. And if you can fit it into your routine, I think it'll be hugely helpful. By the same token, HIIT, high intensity interval training, which has also copped a really bad rap, it's not automatically ruining your hormones. But it's also not compulsory to get good results. For some women, HIIT feels great, gives them endorphins, energy, they feel amazing. For others, especially during a really stressful, busy season, it can just add more stress and exhaustion to an already full tank. Doesn't mean that HIIT is evil, but it's definitely not the only thing you should be doing. When women are doing only cardio, only HIIT all week long, that's when it can be exhausting and more stress on the body. Again, doesn't mean that's going to help make you store body fat. We'll come to that in a moment. But it can mean that it's not the best strategy for you. So cardio is not the enemy. But punishment cardio, too much, overdoing the cardio at the expense of strength training, which don't worry, we're coming to, that could be an issue. So using exercise to burn off food or to earn food or to punish your body into shrinking, that's the issue. And it's also not effective. So let's leave that aside. That's not a great tool. But things like walking, cycling, swimming, jogging, classes, interval training, all of those things can absolutely have a place and a very helpful, useful place if you enjoy them and you recover well from them. Let's go to lie number 2 now. This is one of my favorites to bust. So lifting weights makes you bulky. This one honestly needs to die because so many women are scared that if they pick up a weight, they're suddenly going to be bulky. They're going to look like Hulk in 5 days' time. And I say this with love. It is much harder to build a large amount of muscle than most people think. You do not accidentally become bulky from lifting weights 2 or 3 times a week. Building a significant amount of muscle, particularly as a woman, takes years of consistent training, progressive overload of enough food, enough recovery, and usually a very deliberate goal to do that. And most women are not accidentally doing that. In fact, some of my strongest clients are also the smallest women that I train. So being strong doesn't automatically mean being big, and strength training can help you look firmer, look stronger, be more defined. It also helps you maintain muscle while you're losing body fat. So if fat loss is a goal, strength training is a crucial part of this equation. This is exactly what we're looking for when it comes to body recomposition, which is a fancy way of saying losing fat and maintaining or increasing muscle mass. So if someone starts lifting and they feel like, or they know that they're getting bigger, their jeans are getting tighter or whatever, there's usually other things going on. So sometimes it's water retention because it is a short-term stressor on the body lifting weights. Doesn't mean you're putting on body fat. Water is very different to body fat. So it could be water retention, which is usually only in the beginning anyway. It could be soreness from new training. Again, inflammation is created because we are putting our body under short-term stress. It's not body fat. It could be hormonal fluctuations. It could be that you're eating more than you realize. So if you're eating more calories, more energy is coming in than you're expending, you are going to increase in size. It's not the weights doing that, it's the extra food. The weights themselves are not magically creating bulk overnight. Weights don't make you bulky. Consistently eating more energy than your body needs is what drives body fat gain. So that's not blame or shame, that's just physiology, and a lot of us aren't taught this. So it's just something to be aware of. It's also why training and nutrition have to work together. So as I talked about in the first part of this series, we want protein and fiber first. We want simple, repeatable meals and enough food to train well and a sustainable deficit if fat loss is your goal. Let's go to lie number 3 now, because this is the other side of the coin. You have to lift really heavy to get results. So this is where we need balance and a nuanced approach, because on one side, women are being told, don't lift weights or you'll get bulky. And on the other side, they're told, if you're not lifting really heavy, there's no point. And that can feel intimidating too. The truth is though, that you do need to challenge your muscles, but heavy is relative. So a weight doesn't need to look impressive on Instagram to be effective. It needs to be challenging for you. So for one person, an 8-kilogram goblet squat might feel really challenging. For someone else, they might need 40 kilograms for that to be challenging. Both can be effective if the effort is there. So I want to say that again, effort. Both can be effective if the effort is there. Your muscles adapt when they're given reason to adapt. So I'm going to explain this a little bit more. If you're new or newish to strength training, or you haven't heard this before, this is a really key part of getting stronger. The reason that we adapt is challenge. So it's not a specific number. It's not if you don't get to a 100 kilogram squat, you're not going to get stronger. It's not whether someone else thinks it looks heavy. So yes, if you're doing the same small weights, the same reps, the same workouts, and it never feels really difficult, you're never getting out of your comfort zone, then your body probably doesn't have a lot of reason to change. But that doesn't mean you need to max out. You don't need to train like a power lifter or an athlete. You don't need to leave every session feeling like you're destroyed. You certainly don't need to feel sore after every session. A good rule of thumb, this is what I want you to take into your next training session. It's that most working sets, so working sets just means after you've done your warm up, should feel like you had maybe 1 to 3 good reps left in the tank. So you get to the end of your set, you might have done 8 reps, you might have done 12, you might have done 15. All of those rep ranges are effective, by the way. The evidence is very clear on that. Anything from about 5 reps to 30 reps in a set can be effective if the effort is there. And then if we think about those last couple of reps, could you have done 1, 2, maybe 3 more with good form? Form's important. Then you're in the sweet spot. If you could have done 15 more, it's probably too light. Okay, so we want challenging, but not punishing. So a progression, when we talk about progressive overload, this is another term that's thrown around a lot. And a lot of people might have an idea about what it is, and others are like, no clue. Progression can look like this. It could look like more weight, so you can lift heavier weights as you get stronger. It could be more reps. So you're starting out using, say, 5 kilogram dumbbells. You can do 8 good reps. And then next week you can do 10, and then next week you can do 12, and then we can increase the weight. So it could be more reps, better technique, more control, better range of motion, or just simply doing the basics more consistently. So there's lots of ways we can improve and get that progressive overload, which is what is going to challenge your muscles and actually help you get stronger. Let's go to line number 4. I feel like this is one that I've become quite well known for, and I want to explain. So line number 4, Pilates and yoga give you long toned muscles or sculpted muscles. Now I want to be really clear here. I'm not anti-Pilates. I'm definitely not anti-yoga. Both can be brilliant. Pilates can be great for control, for core strength, for body awareness. Yoga, great for mobility, flexibility, breathing, slowing down. If you love them, keep them in, by all means. The issue that I have is with the marketing. The idea that Pilates or yoga creates long, toned muscles in a way that weight training cannot. This whole idea that Pilates is for toning and weights is for bulking, completely misleading. Your muscles don't become longer because you choose one type of exercise over the other. Your femur, your bones, they stay the same. Your muscles are not going to get longer in the same length of bone. So when people say they want to look toned, what they usually mean is they want some muscle and they want to reduce their body fat enough to see some of that muscle. That's it. So toned is not a special type of muscle. You cannot tone your muscles. You can build muscle and you can lose body fat, and that's probably going to give you the look that you want. So that usually comes from strength training, from enough protein and enough fiber and a sustainable calorie deficit if fat loss is the goal. Walking is helpful too, and of course from consistency. So absolutely do Pilates and yoga if you enjoy them. They can absolutely be part of a great plan, but I just don't want you to think that they're doing something magical that weights cannot. And I don't want you to think that lifting weights is going to ruin the look that you're trying to create. So for a lot of women, strength training is actually the missing piece. And I will also say this, sometimes Pilates is, I've said this before, a gateway drug into strength training, that women feel a little intimidated potentially. Hopefully you don't, we'll change that. But women might feel intimidated by starting straight into lifting weights, but Pilates feels a bit more approachable, a bit more doable. So if it feels like a way you can get into strength training, by all means start with that. But I just don't want you to feel like that's the one piece that you need, the be all and end all. We need to lift some weights. And the weights that we lift in Pilates is not the same thing. That's a session for another day, but we need that progressive overload is important in order for our muscles to grow and our strength to increase. So I want to summarize with what actually matters. I want to simplify this here. So after 40, a good training approach usually includes a few key things. First, strength training. So for most women, 2 to 4 sessions a week is a great place to work from. That could be 2 full body sessions if you're really busy or just starting out. Could be 3, it could be 4, depending on your goals, your experience and your recovery. There's no perfect split. The best one is the one that you'll do consistently. You want to cover the basics. A squat or a lunge, a hinge, a push and a pull. They are the foundations of a good training program. You don't need hundreds of fancy exercises. You need the basics done well and repeated long enough to progress. Secondly, walking and daily movement. Walking is so underrated. Low barrier, recovery friendly, really good for your head, helps you increase your daily movement without smashing your body. Walking in and of itself, not enough to build strength. Let's add the strength training in, but it's a fantastic complementary exercise that is very accessible for anyone. We don't need to obsess over a perfect step number, but if you're only moving a really small amount each day, say a small amount's probably under 5,000 to 6,000 steps, then gently increasing that can make a really big difference. Third, cardio and HIIT if it fits. Cardio is absolutely allowed. It's not going to destroy your results. It's not going to make you magically store body fat. You can do intervals, you can do classes, swim, jog, dance, cycle. Movement is great. Do what you enjoy and add what you need, which is definitely the strength training. So the question shouldn't be, is cardio bad? It's, can I recover from this? Do I enjoy it? Does it fit my week? If you hate running, don't take up running thinking it's going to be the magic fix. It's not. But if you love running, by all means keep it in. Just make sure you're recovering from it. Fourth, match your training with your nutrition. So training gives the signal and nutrition supports the result. A lot of people think just eating protein is enough to build muscle. It's not. If there's no signal coming from you strength training, there's going to be no muscle built from you eating protein, but we need both. So if you're training but not eating protein and not getting enough fiber, skipping lots of meals, snacking but always feeling hungry, then your training can only do so much. So that's why we want to bring it back to the foundations of the protein and the fiber, the repeatable meals, enough food to support your training, and consistency. Now, a few quick mistakes I want you to watch out for. A few things I see all the time that can hamper your results and mean you're spinning your wheels and not getting the health, the body, the physique that you want. So doing only cardio and wondering why your body shape is not changing. Avoiding weights because you're scared of getting bulky. Doing random classes but never progressing anything, always using the same weights and the same reps and the same movements. Going all in for 2 weeks, training every day, being a machine, and then crashing and burning. Thinking soreness means success. You can absolutely have a great workout and not be sore the next day. Thinking that sweat means fat loss. Sweat's just water and salt, right? So it doesn't mean fat loss. More sweat does not equal more results. Using exercise to earn food. I want you to think of them as two separate equations, and exercise is good for your physique, your general health, your longevity, and food can support those goals as well. Changing plans every single Monday. We need to stay consistent with something for it to work, and constantly trying to find the perfect workout instead of building the basic habits that actually move the needle. So none of this is about being perfect. It's just about being honest with what your body actually needs. So to wrap it up, to bring this all together, if you're just zoned out, let's tune back in. This is what you need. You can do cardio. You can and should lift weights. You don't have to train like an athlete. You don't need to fear cortisol. You don't need to punish yourself with workouts. And don't believe the long, lean marketing hype. Definitely don't need to start again every Monday. Please don't. What you need is a simple, repeatable plan that helps you get stronger, helps you move more, recover better, and support your body with the right nutrition. That's what works. That's what I do with my clients. That's why they get amazing results. They're not doing random workouts. They're not going off fear-based advice and stressing out about things that influencers with no credentials are telling them. You don't need to do another challenge that's really hardcore and you're going to stick to for 2 weeks. You just need a plan that fits your body and fits your life. So I'd love to know, which of these training myths have you heard the most? And no blame or shame, which of them have you believed? And have I changed your mind? Or do you have more questions? Because I'm an open book. I will share with you the evidence out there if you're not sure, if you're still confused. And comment or DM me if you want to, info, if you want help figuring out what type of training might actually suit your body for this stage of life and your goals. Thanks, girls. Hope that was helpful. Bye.